Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, one and all. I'm very excited for this fight club. Let's get started. Timer set to gonna keep it singles for now. If people really want to switch over to teams, then we can do that. But for now, I'm thinking, honestly, hear me out, but what if we did random maps this fight club? Okay, awesome. Yeah, same keyword as always. That is not the same keyword as always. There we go. Well, you never know. You could get GLID 12. But yeah. So the theme of today's fight club is factions. The factions being the RLF, Balaam, Arquebus, and Independent. So I'm interested to see. Beautiful, glorious. It is a pleasure to have... Okay, there we go. Welcome, welcome. Okay, we got Joe Bouse versus Tension. This is excellent. Okay. Oh, this map. Well, I suppose with randoms. Joe Bouse. Very Bouse. Very, very Rubiconian. I like it. Nice catch with the assault armor. And post-blade finish. Yeah, it does look like... Gridwalkers, it looks like. Yeah. Oh, congrats. Welcome, welcome. Well played, both of you. Okay, and... Oh, I guess I'm going. But just to go over the rules again, it's 2 losses and then you get rotated out, or you win and you get rotated out. Just to give everyone a fair chance to go. Oh, right, yeah. I will get that momentarily. But... Okay, so the theme is factions, which... This map again? Okay. The factions are Arquebus, Balaam, the Rubiconians, and independent corps such as Furlong. For example, my AC is Furlong. But basically, just try to create ACs with using parts from those corporations. For the sake of argument, I'm going to say that Baus counts as Rubiconian, but independent ACs can use parts from other factions. For example, my Furlong AC uses a Balaam assembly for the most part. Yeah,
AP at 50%.
but it... Basically just try to have fun. Anyways, good match, good match. Okay, and so that, yeah, we'll do that. Steel haze or tooth. That sounds terrifying. Lovely Rubiconian AC. And... gotta love the pizza. Terminal armor. Nice moves. One day we'll have that drunk stream. Nice catch. And thank you for the drink water. Okay, that looked wrong, but I was drinking a cup of tea. Because I've been a little bit sick again. But well enough to make this stream. Because I missed the planned date for the December monthly stream because I was sick from the holidays. And I've kind of been in a state of being kind of sick ever since, like, the holidays, but, you know. Good fight, both of you. Stromboli. Yeah, winter is a bit of a hard time of year. But especially I've had sort of a seasonal thing going on with respiratory issues every winter. And I also happen to be allergic to dogs, and for, like, the Christmas celebration with family, there were 3 dogs with no concept of personal space. And suffice it to say, my allergies were pretty bad for a couple days afterwards. So yeah, I've been a little bit sick, but you know. That is terrifying. Nice catch with the laser blade. Nice. Well thought. This is All Mind versus Balaam. I did think about keeping score of the different factions and matches won, but... Ooh! Yeah, I gotta watch out for that hole. This one... gonna be really close, I feel. Hello! Welcome. Those dizzies are surprisingly pulling their weight here. Honestly, yeah, I think Independent is kind of the random bullshit go faction in this fight club. So, like, you can pretty much good fight. Yeah, I would say so. I do kind of want to encourage people to come up with new ACs for the club, but it is kind of a cop-out to, you know... Yep, got it. Wrong one. There we go. Yeah. It is kind of that, independence. You can use pretty much any independent corporation parts, especially since there's not, like, any, Balaam boosters or whatnot. With that said, it is... It's not bad to allow for, like, unaffiliated ACs. Yeah. Pretty much any independent. Yeah, I just decided Baus, fits better as a Rubiconian. Indeed. But I figured Baus fits better as a Rubiconian since half the ACs we see Baus parts on are generally... This is not me piloting. I am just spectating this one. I am generally a lightweight main though. My main is this is just a side AC I'm playing around with for now, but my main is very, very, very much lightweight. No armor whatsoever. Yeah, I really love the Lammergeier core look. When the update first leaked that there would be the Lammergeier core, I was really excited, primarily for the fact that I would be able to decrease the amount of armor on my armored core. But also, because it looks... It's one of my favorite looking cores. Don't fall off the ledge. But I also really love how, it does. I really love the, output adjustment on... Hi. I love the output adjustment on the Lamb core because paired with Hokushi, it basically means that it should go without saying, but my favorite core before they added Lammergeier was Noctrier. I very much like... I like the look of the Noctrier parts, and lightweight is just my favorite way to play the game. It is more unarmored, however, it's also jailbreak core. Yeah, I really want to make, like, a racing AC at some point. Okay. Kijiko was one of the first, so I will... Actually, since... Oh, right, yeah. Gotta enter in the... warm-ups. Okay, and make that visible. Ta-da! I mean, yeah, probably. Schwertfall was intentionally designed to be able to move pretty well through the grid. No, you don't have to leave, but yeah, you can stay in the room. You don't have to leave the room when you lose. Yeah, it's a rule for me to remember. Yeah. Breach the Carmen line is is a really fun mission. Alright, I gotta... That is a really nice paint job. I don't necessarily think so. Just because it's very tonally different from Armored Core in general. Armored Core 6, I mean. Indeed. Yeah, Cell 240 is probably, for me, it was the single hardest boss I encountered in my first playthrough. Hi, Echo. It's such a good fight, but I remember when I first got into Armored Core 6, I kid you not, I spent like 8 hours fighting Cell 240 before I finally beat the boss. Genuinely, I stayed up until 4 in the morning fighting that boss. Yeah, I didn't really know how to pilot, Snailtails was a bit hard for me, my first playthrough. But also because there was a bug with the graphics drivers at the time. And for some reason, the bug made it so that Snail would, like, flash really bright white and red and blue lights. Like, to the point it would have been like an epilepsy hazard, but I assumed it was just Snail being an asshole and, you know, making it hard for me to fight him. He was... I don't think he was teleporting during the beam spin. That seems to happen when Snail hits a piece of terrain and it cancels a certain part of the animation. At least that's what I can assume. Oh. Good fight. Whew. Yeah, I believe that was 2. Let's mix up the rotation a little bit. Okay. I'd say generally for, it depends on the weapon dragon. For kinetic weapons, obviously it would be, probably in the millimeters. Yeah, presets should stay if you start a new game. As for laser weapons, I don't really think there is a caliber for, laser weapons, because the size of the barrel doesn't exactly matter. It's more how much power you're putting into a laser. At least, I assume so. Yeah, energy output, you know, like they are currently. Shotguns, I don't think you could really measure in traditional... that's good to know. True, yeah. But, shotguns, you cannot, really use conventional shotgun measurements for, the shotguns of this size, because you'd end up with, like, 1/16 gauge shotguns, which is nonsensical and you'd probably just use millimeters for them. I guess you could use the old pounder system, you know, like 13 pounder, whatnot, but we as society have progressed past the need for using that system, I think. Yeah. Because, the ship, that measurement system works exactly... It works in the exact inverse of, shotgun gauge, in that rather than measuring how many balls the diameter of a shotgun it takes to make a pound. For example... yeah, that's fair, that's fair. For example, 12 gauge means you need 12 balls the diameter of the barrel to make a pound, whereas 13 pounder means a lead ball, the diameter of the barrel, weighs 13 pounds. Which is, you know, a very neat measurement system, but it's kind of... it's kind of useless as, as a modern measuring system for firearm caliber, because we just... It would be big. It would be fairly big. I'm sure someone probably has, if I had to guess, it's probably in the ballpark of, like 460 millimeters. We're talking like fairly sizable naval gun caliber. That is... Yes, I have thought about getting armored core model kits. I do enjoy building models in my free time. I just scarcely have the finances to be able to justify such purchases. I guess most AC machine guns are probably in the ballpark of 20 to 40 millimeter. Which is pretty large for, like, machine gun stuff, but that's another thing, is I don't really have room to build AC models and keep them. But it would be cool. One of these days, when they do have all the parts to build Schwertwall, I will 100% be building Schwertwall. I will find space when it comes to Schwertwall. Yeah. It would have to be something that I'd save up for, but yeah, the paint would also be kind of a roadblock, but I'm gonna switch back to Caledon. Okay. Serve. Let's go. Are you gone? Oh wait, you just went. Never mind. I am slightly that could be that. Yeah, I think. Yeah, Lamb and Fermeza would unlock most of the parts for Schwertwall. And then Noctrier, obviously, but they already have that. Yeah. Tragically, Lamb is not very conducive to scale modeling. Yes, MLT6, which I don't think they have. I could be wrong, though. That is large. Kinda reminds me of one of my Balaam AC builds. That is true, yeah. Cats can be gremlins at times. Also, I do apologize for the background noise. I've got an old furnace going off right now. Which, if it doesn't run, then my office becomes like super frigid. But if it does run, it's kind of really loud and annoying. Nothing that I can really do about that. Jim Elcano. Good catch. Yeah, Dual Vientos is it's an underappreciated combo these days. I remember in the old days, that was like the only meta melee builds. Obviously, since then, it's kind of died off. But it still can hold its own. Gao-Chen is, yeah, definitely a lot more finicky against ACs, I feel. Ooh. Like, against stationary targets or slower moving targets at longer ranges or larger targets, it's a solid grenade launcher, but in close quarters, it's really gamble whether it hits or not, and unlike the Dizzy, you can't really count on its splash radius as much. Yeah, Zooks are generally better. Generally. That is pretty big. Ooh, nice catch with the bunk. That is a very interesting fun fact. I would never have known that. Indeed. I mean, I'd say it's fairly possible that Balaam helped with Steel Haze Ortus just owing to the fact that it's got a Balaam FCS, and thank you for the stretch break. Yeah, the Huxley seems to be like prototype Balaam. It should. It absolutely should. I will look into this. Okay. Okay, that's 2 for you. Who hasn't gone in a while? I think. Yeah, let's just do that. Oh, right, Kijiko. Sorry. Right, yeah, I have the memory of a goldfish. I forgot. Alright. Balaam. Versus Balaam, parentheses, Furlong. Yeah, I really enjoyed making the Dazzle camouflage. Oh.
AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
So basically, in old-fashioned naval warfare, the point of Dazzle camouflage was to sort of conceal the shape and movement of a ship. Because it makes it more difficult to discern features of the ship, at least in theory. But obviously with modern... Yeah, pretty much. It's not to hide the ship, because it does not hide the ship. It just makes it more confusing when you're looking at it at a range, what direction it's going, and whatnot. However, nowadays with like modern optics and radar and the fact that gunnery isn't even all that critical of a thing in naval warfare anymore, there's not really any need for dazzle camouflage other than it looks cool. It's good 12 time. Yeah, pretty much. And the fact that even by, like, the end of World War II, naval gunnery became less and less crucial as a tactic. Battleships were pretty much rendered obsolete by the end of World War II. I think Indeed. I hate when I'm locked out. Loader 0. Interesting. Tea with honey has got to be the best beverage when you're sick. Genuinely a godsend. Yeah, I don't know, maybe Brood is just built different. Oh, good lord. That is a creature, if I've ever seen one. Ooh, I really like that AC. That said, the flamethrower in particular is really brutal in AC versus AC fights, if you know what you're doing with it. You can genuinely just surround everything with fire. So that's probably one of the reasons why Brute is high rank. But it also is probably just he's kind of built different. And then there's also the argument to be made that arena ranks aren't necessarily indicative of pilot skill. Though it is funny to call V1 Freud V1 fraud. It probably is somewhat accurate, but there definitely are outliers to the arena ranking system. Yeah, Rusty is probably... Yeah, V1 fraud is potential, man. And Carla hacks her own AC arena entry. So it's probably not entirely accurate to her skills either. Yeah. Yep. I choose to believe Sula's entry is corrupted because Allmind is pissed off that we're fighting him again. Yeah. I feel like oh, okay. That's a certified FromSoft moment. Gotta love, maybe? I don't know. If in this game, probably not. I don't really foresee AC6 getting another major update. As much as I would love it, I don't really foresee that happening. It would be nice, though. Don't get me wrong. It would be really nice to have that have like an official update, but you know, best we'll probably get is mods that add new stuff. of which I definitely wish there were more Armored Core mods. But FromSoft moment. Why would you do this, FromSoft? Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. Well done. We got the mud cam. Yeah, Armory is... It adds too much, for one. Okay. Let's try this again for the third time. For one, a lot of the mods are... a lot of the Armory mod is massively bloated, yeah, and I don't speak much on drama, but I prefer not to associate with that sort of individual. In any case. One mod that I can personally recommend is the Avispa mod by Yagter Sundance. Can find that on Nexus mods, but it's neat. Adds a couple new parts which are really fun to play around with. I don't think so. I know absolutely not. It's not the first game to have a cluster munition. Uh, 100% not. It's not the first in the series to have a cluster munition. Those laser drones are brutal. Yeah, AC4A and AC4 definitely have cluster munitions. We even see them in the trailer, or not the, I think the trailer, where White Glint, the intro to AC4 Answer, where White Glint goes up against Spirit of Motherwill. So true. Javelin Alpha isn't really a cluster munition, though. At least not that I can tell. Maybe a bit of a cluster munition, but I guess technically, but things like, at least not like a traditional cluster munition, I feel. Yeah, it is a clustered explosive, but specifically cluster munitions like split missiles, etc., etc., those have been around for a long time. Those are like true cluster munitions. Technically speaking, cluster munitions are legal, depending on who you ask. And even then, their use in war isn't really contested as perfectly legal. It's more the fact that they have a... They have a tendency not to all explode, and so you end up with hundreds of little bomblets that haven't exploded when you've used a ton of cluster ordnance, which is kind of a nightmare for bomb disposal. It's a similar case to like landmines, where you end up having tons of unexploded ordnance after a conflict. Which is generally not good for civilian population. Yes. Okay. Okay. Who hasn't gone in a while? Oh, yeah, let's give you S rank. My oh my. Welcome, welcome. Hello. Welcome to the Fight Club. Dual pulse guns, and that is a very shiny AC. Oh, congrats on the new PC. Gotta love purging weapons in the middle of a fight. Yeah, keyboard mouse controls can sometimes be a little bit purging the other. Ooh, gonna go for the maximum speed. That's actually a pretty solid tactic. Mm-hmm, yeah. Yeah. Ooh, nice, nice. I need to play more of Armored Core and Armored Core 4 Answer. Maybe emulate 5th gen. Stromboli. This map is so good. I really love it. I feel like it's one of the divisive maps precisely because of like the death pit and also sort of weird verticality at times. The pit is fun though. And thanks for the shrimp check. I have surprisingly not been shrimping too bad today. Contact with You is one of my favorites from the AC6 soundtrack. Yeah, the remix version is also really cool. Those dizzies are... Oh. Oh. Saved yourself from a... Good fight, good fight. Those dizzies are surprisingly... I think, definitely there are some parts of the soundtrack that, are a bit underwhelming, but I do think there's quite a few solid pieces from AC6, you know. It's not, you know, 4th gen though. Fourth gen is probably the strongest with regards to music. Yeah, I do wish those were in the game, but wow, that is very vertical. I do agree. Mechanized Memories is probably my favorite. Out of all the Armored Core soundtracks, it's just so good. And it's like... I'm losing my train of thought here. Good catch with the assault armor. Unbreakable is a good one, yeah. Okay, that's 2 for you. Yeah, let's... Dragon, I think? Yeah, I think Dragon hasn't gone in a while. I could be wrong, though. Do correct me if I'm forgetting again. Oh, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'll give my spot to you. That is a very funny song name. What in the that is a very, and the classic gold ship. But this is a very gremlin AC. Ooh. Nice combo. Those are very silly song names. Yeah. Honestly, most of the heavyweight cores on anything other than heavyweight legs end up looking very silly. Like, snail core on anything other than the snail legs just ends up looking like a beer belly. Oh, right, yeah. Well, I suppose those... those are heavyweight legs, so it's not as dissonant. Fairly close one here. Yeah, and for a while you were right about to stagger. Truly the most heartbreaking of bunk moments when the bunk doesn't actually connect right. It's honestly, like, more sad than missing the bunk entirely. We do. I need to add this, at some point. Good catch with the lance. Well done. Of course. Thank you for stopping by. Take care. Welcome. Literally just Walter. Ooh, nice, nice. I could go for some crunchy tacos right now. Also, hi. They're going quite well. Soft taco is good too, but, you know, crunchy taco. Ooh, pool noodle time. Just gotta eat it carefully. Ooh. This is like the actual Walter fight. It is, yeah, it is a fairly strong preset, if you know what you're doing with it, but it has a lot of flaws. That is a certified bunk. Oh! Nice save. Good fight. I feel songbirds are a bit undertuned for PvP. So that could be, you know, that could have contributed. But also, it's not exactly a very serious build to begin with. Botfly. Oh no. Certified from soft moment. Oh no. Certified from soft moment. The servers have once again cursed us. It would seem so. Let's have another go at that. Yeah, we can do the team fight soon. If people are up for it. Up to... Yeah, yeah. And what should we do for today's team fight? Ooh. I do really love how that AC looks. Yeah, yeah, absolutely not gonna be doing team fight yet. Presets only would be a good one. I got jump scared a bit for a second when you said last year, Dragon. I still cannot process that it is 2026. Yeah, Balaam versus Arquebus would be a good one, I think. That is true, yeah. It is. It has been like an actual year, time-wise, over a year since the first Fight Club, I'm pretty sure. Could be. The passage of time is a fickle thing. Good fight. The coral did not abide with you. Okay. Who has not gone in a while? Or actually... Yeah, let's... Yeah, if you want to, you can swap it up, but I'm not gonna force you. I've done all my runs today with pretty much one AC except for the one where I did it with Shroudfall with... which was just one. Otherwise, I've pretty much used the same AC this whole time. Snail but Balaam. Nice parry. Pulse protection. Not something you see every day. Nothing crazy, Waffle Shark. Good fight, good fight. I... Liger Faith. John Furlong. Okay, I gotta have a matchup against John Furlong with Achilles. Ooh, the fists! The raw bunk. The minor bunk. This, you may not know it, but this is peak Armored Core. Good fight, good fight. Okay. All right, it's time. The Verlongening. The Acre. Oh dear. Oh god, I'm in danger here. Ooh.
at 30%.
Oh. Caught by terrain.
AP at 50%. AP at
Oh, I'm
30%.
cooked. Ooh.
AP at 30%.
Yeah. Good fight, good fight. It can't... I wanted to make it different than the Fight Club where we did corporations only. But yeah, it was kind of unintended, but yeah, at the moment. Okay, I will switch back to Caledon. Yeah, been a while. Nice to see ya. FedEx. Correct, yes, this is on PC. Good fight. So basically, the factions are the Rubiconians, the Balaam, Arquebus, and Independent. Independent being Furlon, Takigawa Harmonix, and, I know there's another independent... All Mind. That's... no. No, we are not necessarily using presets. But bring a build that fits into one of those factions and, you know, have fun. Sure. All Mind is kind of... Flamethrowers and soup. This is going to be a very brutal build up close. Yeah, the soup isn't so much good at close range, but dual flamethrowers are. Unless your enemy has pulse armor. Correct, yes, it does explosive damage. If you think about it, fire is very slow explosion. There is a lot of fire on screen right now. Certified flamethrower moment. Yeah. The debt collector has to have had one of the worst deaths for a pilot in AC6. Dude literally got molten metal poured on his AC. That probably hurt a moderate amount. Good catch. Well played. And welcome, welcome. Gun 13 Huron. That's a good name. That is a very sick emblem. Mm-hmm. I mean, sharks eat a lot of different types of fish. Depends on the shark, of course, and on the fish, but I feel like there are probably some types of sharks that eat eels. Eels are pretty tasty. Okay, FromSoft, give us a hand here. Please tell me you're not going to crash the room and kick us all out. I beg of you, FromSoft. Yeah. That said, it's happened before where it's done this and then the room just decided to die and kick everyone out of it. Hopefully it's not doing this currently, but who can say for certain? Not me. Haven't had this happen. Okay. Are we back? Is an important question. Black screen. Oh. Yippee! We're so back. Oh, that's not good. Okay. Good job. We're so back. Damn, I didn't know you could climb all the way up there. That's pretty cool. I would kill for a battle royal game mode in AC6. Yeah, it's definitely a easy anti-cheat thing. Cause we love kernel level anti-cheat. Good fight. That was a close one. Yeah, it's not every day we see give you not every day you see pulse protection, but it is always nice to see it. It's obviously very situational and generally not the best, but it's fun. Double melee. Oh my. Very British. Good counter lance. That was pretty fast. And thank you for following. Darkrai 1507. Okay. Little Z. Double laser shotguns. The hell is the generator on that thing? God damn. Not necessarily. Good fight. Alright, you're in. Hmm. Alright, take care. It was a pleasure having you. Good fight, good fight. And thinking we're probably gonna be coming up on the teams fight soon. And wrapping up the stream. So we decided it was Arquebus versus Balaam. Presets. Alright, I'll remember that. Tile is gonna be Balaam. Team Balaam. Good lord. That is a tank. Oof. Good shielding. Yes, infection is okay. Rusty counts, yeah. Any of the Vespers and any of the red guns. Good fight. Good job hanging in there. It was genuinely impressive. Okay. I think that's a fair time to transition over to... Unless... Transition over to teams, if people want. Otherwise, yeah, I think we're... And that's where we'll be wrapping things up. Okay. Come one, come all. Alright, I will see what everyone's picking before. Understandable, yeah. Okay, Locksmith, Laggard Tail, Hermit. So, Balaam will be Alpha. And I guess I'm going Arquebus. I will go with... I'm thinking about it. You know what, let's... I gotta be Rusty. Anyways. Yeah. Let's not argue. That is a very good question. Yes, you should buy AC6. The PvE is very good. I mean, it depends on who you're PvPing with and what kind of build you play. Good shot with the Fasan. Oh god.
AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
Oh god. Yeah, there are no repair kits in PvP. Okay. Team Balaam keeps grouping together, and it's really working for their favor. Good fight, good fight. And with that, that is where I will be wrapping up today's Fight Club. It has been a joy, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye for now.